Is the market giving us the green light for alts? So I'll be going through why I think that may be the case. As always, going through Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETH, BTC, Bitcoin dominance, etc. As well as we've got some alts to watch down in the bottom right corner of the watch list, as you can see, with some potential trade opportunities, not only in USDT pairs, but in BTC pairs as well. If you do like our content, please do like and consider subscribing. We really do appreciate it. It helps out massively. And thank you for all the comments we've been getting over the past few weeks. Really enjoyed getting some feedback and getting to know you guys a little bit better. So that is awesome. Keep that up. Really appreciate it. But first, before we get onto the charts, as always on a Monday, we go through what is going on in the economic world. So this week's a bit of a weird one, pretty quiet, and we've got no markets tomorrow due to the 4th of July, obviously Independence Day in the US. So market's been pretty quiet today so far. It's probably going to continue to be up until market close. As I say, they close early tonight, and then no market in the US tomorrow. So could be a pretty quiet day or two. And then even after that, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's not much coming out in terms of data. We've got New York Federal President Williams speaking on Wednesday. Not too sure what about. Might not be that groundbreaking. We've got the minutes from the June FOMC meeting, but of course that's nothing new. We all know what the outcome of that meeting was. So the minutes aren't really going to show anything groundbreaking. And then we've just got the usual end of week stuff. So we've got non-farm payroll and initial jobless claims and all that sort of stuff. So nothing crazy this week in terms of data. And if we take a look at Bloomberg, again, nothing really different, to be honest. There's nothing jumping out of the page. So as I say, not too much in terms of data and fundamental stuff this week. So let's get straight back to the charts. And if we take a look at Bitcoin from the monthly down to the daily, as we can see, monthly time frame, we got that all important close over 29.3. It was a bit of a rocky day on Friday. I'll go through that when we go down to the daily time frame. But as you can see, bullish engulfing candle, which means we wicked below the previous month's candle and closed above the previous candle close. So as I say, bullish engulfing, close over an important monthly resistance. We talked about the importance of this 29.3k. It was the bottom back here in the summer of 21 where we had 3 wicks that failed to get below it. Support here back in May 2022. And of course we had these 3 bearish retests in March, April and May of this year before finally closing above last month. So pretty an important monthly close. I do hold some weight onto it, and purely from a technical perspective, I would now expect a move up to the 34.4k level, which is my next level of monthly resistance. It's this swing low from February 2022. Do we get a sort of bullish retest of 29.3 first as support before moving up, or do we just go straight there? I'm not sure. But the danger, of course, is that this could just be a fake out and that we have a deviation. So any monthly close below 29.3k now would be pretty bearish in my opinion. But as I say, at the moment, we are looking pretty good. In terms of the weekly time frame, not much to add. We still haven't managed to hit 31.7k, which is quite surprising. So that will be the first barrier to stop us getting from 34.4k. So we'll see what happens if and when we get to there. But not much progress made last week from the week before. And if we go down to the daily time frame, we are still stuck at this 30.8k daily level of resistance. You could call it a range high in this sort of small range we've been in since what's it, 22nd of June. So the range low being 29.6, the range high being 30.8. As I say, no daily close above that yet. So essentially what we're waiting for is a daily close above 30.8, which then should send us to 31.7k, get a weekly close above 31.7, and then we should end up at 34.4. That's the sort of rough game plan order of things that I expect to happen. Of course, we need to wait for that first trigger first to get over that 30.8k. Now, on Friday, what happened? If we go down to the lower time frame, so down to the 1 hour, you'll see this is what happened on Friday. This all happened after we released the video, unfortunately. But essentially, some news came out that the ETF application was basically sent back to make some amendments. But when the news broke, the market overreacted and thought that the ETF had been rejected. Basically said that there was a couple of technical issues that needed to be resolved. So they're going to, I believe BlackRock are going to just resubmit with those corrections made. And the market basically just come back to where it started. And as you can see, we are back to where we were a few days ago. But quite a crazy candle, especially with it being the end of the month as well. Especially when we were down here at 29.5, I thought, oh my goodness, is this going to end up closing below 29.3k on the monthly? But it didn't. So as I say, that's where we are now. Basically waiting for a break and hold above 30.8k to continue, or if we somehow get back below 29.6, that would be quite bearish in my opinion. Probably head down to 28k. Ethereum looking stronger, which is the first point on my reasoning as to why alts might be doing quite well over the next week or two. If we go to the monthly, again, nothing new. We managed to hold 1721 monthly support, but we are starting to climb a little bit now, as you can see, unless, of course, this turns into a wick similar to what happened in April and May. If we go to the weekly, again, we're sort of stuck in this little mini range between 2012 and 1783. We are pushing up to the upper end of that range now, though. Looking to test 2012, a weekly close and hold above that, then I think we go to 2,300, which is the next monthly level of resistance. On the daily, we're finally making progress, unlike with BTC. So this, you could call this a range high at 1940. First daily close and hold above since when's this? May, the 5th of May. So we've been unable to close above this level since we closed below it on the 19th of April. So well over a month. We had, apart from this one daily close here on the 5th of May, which quickly retraced back below. So you call that deviation. So this looks to be the breakout. Very unlikely that this daily candle ends up closing back below 1940. So similar to BTC, you want a daily close above 1940 to send us to the weekly level of 2012, a weekly close and hold above that, and we should go to 2,300. So maybe Ethereum is going to lead the way. If we then take a look at ETH BTC, this caught a bid. So we were talking on Friday about a potential bounce off this daily level here at 0.06. Didn't quite make it down there. Bounced at around 0.0605, so not too far away at all. But if we go to the weekly, which is the most important time frame here, you can see we talked about a deviation back into the range of this. I did have this marked out, but this was the weekly range low. So a deviation back in here, and you should see a rally up to the sort of weekly mid-range, which is here at 0.066, and where it meets the bearish trend line. So even if this just comes up to make another lower high, you should still see a good result for alt BTC pairs. So with ETH BTC leading the way, so definitely something to watch out for. And Bitcoin dominance, as you would expect, hit 52% on the nose and has started to retrace. So obviously the more ETH BTC rallies, the more Bitcoin dominance is going to fall, or vice versa, whichever leads first. But it is starting to look good for ETH and alts, especially in their BTC pairs, which is what we're going to move on to now. So here we've got just a random selection of alts that are looking quite good on their BTC pairs in terms of being on levels of higher time frame support. So you can see ADA here, clear level of high time frame support here at 940 sats. This shelf here is previous resistance, flipped to support back in January 2021. And we've come and tested it here today, today or at the moment. What I like about this one, especially over the other two, is that you are really close to invalidation. So all you need to wait for, if you get a weekly close below 940, you can cut the trade. Whereas you've got the max risk reward here. So as you can see, a 25% move from here up to the next weekly level of 1192, which would be my target. You can see this previous swing low, could easily see a run up here for a bearish retest, and even if it is to continue this pattern of lower highs and lower lows. MATIC BTC, so you can see this very important level of weekly support down here at circa, call it 2050 sats. It has moved a little bit off of this level, so it's not as good risk reward as the ADA trade, because as I say, you're not quite at that point of perfect entry, being right close to invalidation, but it's only moved a few percent. Let's just quickly have a look. So it's about 10% up. So you might have missed a little bit of portion of the move, but again, this could run up to this weekly level of 3,072 sats, previous level of support and resistance, and again, it's a nice place for a lower high should it just continue this downtrend, but you could catch this rally here. Again, invalidation would be a weekly close below 2,020 sats, or if you wanted to look at the daily time frame, because you're already quite far away from invalidation. You could easily just mark out a level here around 2,200 sats, daily close below that, and you can cut the trade, and that's only a very small loss. And then BNB BTC, again, on a really important level of support here at 7,425 sats. Once again, similar to MATIC, it has bounced a little bit from the ideal entry level. It's about 8% up, and it's only about another 11% to the next level of weekly resistance at about 9,100 sats. As you can see, clear level of previous support, and in fact you could drag that over there, clear level of support, which hasn't had a bearish retest as resistance yet. So real nice, simple, easy target. Again, you could class this as a bit of a range, and you're basically going from range lows to range highs. Again, invalidation would be a weekly close below 7,425 sats, or once again, if you wanted to go down to the daily time frame for some invalidation, which is a little bit sooner rather than having to wait for the weekly, especially because you're quite far away from invalidation, you could jump out on a daily close below 7,900 sats, this little level here, which is basically your breakout level. So, or you could even wait for a pullback into that level, and then your invalidation is really tight, because then you're just waiting for a close below that level itself. So if the BTC pairs run, that is always a good sign for the USDT pair. So let's take a look at those. So ADA USDT, should the ADA BTC pair catch a bid, you can expect ADA USDT to probably come up and have a bearish retest of this weekly mid-range level at about 32, 33 cents. As you can see, we've bounced off the weekly range lows. We're in a bit of a no man's land at the moment. However, as I say, if ADA BTC catches a bid, you can see this bearish retest of the weekly mid-range coming. It's not had a bearish retest yet. It's a clear level of support, so that could be a fairly decent trade. Again, it's about 12%, not too bad. If you wanted to go down to the daily to have like an invalidation, you could say that a daily close below this level here at about 0.286, and you can just cut the trade for a small loss. MATIC USDT, so this is an interesting one. So we talked about this losing the monthly range low as it has done. Now there is a chance that it's going to at least come up and have a bearish retest, and if it doesn't reject, then even better, it actually has a deviation, and then you could run that up to at least the mid-range, maybe even the range high. But definitely approach with caution. I would approach the 75 cents level with extreme caution. So if you're going to jump in here, I would definitely be looking at taking profits at 75 cents. So as you can see on all time frames, so you've already seen the monthly, the weekly here, you can see there's some candle wicks and candle bodies closing right on 75 cents. And then even if you go down to the daily, there is a lot of action there at 75 cents. So 75 cents is a big resistance level, and it of course marks the top of this sort of monthly resistance range. As I say, this could just be a bearish retest, but if the MATIC BTC pair catches a bid, you can expect it to come up and hit that 75 cents area, which, as I say, would be a really good place to take profits. You're looking at around, it's about a 10% move, which isn't too bad. If you go down to the daily to look for some invalidation, you can see a nice clear level here at around 66 cents, I'd call that. So yeah, a daily close below 66 cents, and you can cut it for a small loss. And then finally BNB. So we've looked at this trade quite a lot on this channel, this pair I should say, on this channel. It didn't quite make it down to the weekly range lows. We've got front run a little bit at 222 rather than the 212 I was expecting. However, once again, if the BNB BTC pair catches a bid, you can expect a bearish retest of this weekly mid-range daily level, which again, what's that, about 7? Oh, it's actually about a 10% move, not too bad. Again, go down to the daily time frame. You can look down here for some invalidation. So personally, I'd probably look at a daily close maybe below this 241 level here. In fact, if we just move that up there, I'd give it some breathing room. If it gets back below 240, 241, then you can maybe look at closing that for a small loss. But once again, all looking pretty good on their BTC pairs, and if ETH BTC continues to rally, then I'm sure all BTC pairs will continue to rally, and if all BTC pairs continue to rally, then I'm sure USDT pairs will as well. So the only thing that gives me cause for concern is, once again, if we go back to BTC, it hasn't got over that 30.8k daily level yet. Now, the only thing that concerns me is the market front running the expected break of this 30.8k level by piling into alts and Ethereum? If it is, then that could cause a cause for concern, because if BTC decides to actually roll over and break down, then people that are overexposed, over leveraged in ETH and alts are going to quickly dump their bags, and you could see things drastically turn around. So it's one of those: do you get in early and try and front run the expected break and capture as much of the profits as you can, but risk taking a loss if BTC rejects from resistance? Or do you have patience, wait for BTC to confirm with a break over the daily level of 30.8k, but then miss out on some of the beginning of the gains on alts and ETH? That's a question for you to answer. That is all down to your own personal risk management. That is certainly not something I am in a position to make that decision for you. As I say, do you want to be early and risk taking the loss, or do you want to be patient, wait for that confirmation, and risk losing a little bit the early portion of the move? Completely up to you, but that's my insights on the market. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back on Thursday of this week, so I'm not around on Friday, for a follow-up video and take a look at what is happening in the market. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you on Thursday.